Explain to Zhu the ability of children to understand. If that's the first case, it's going to be a disaster. Wide LAN throughout Thien High City. No, it's even possible to LAN the whole country, or even the whole world. But if it's the second case, is that someone is quietly controlling? The movement has become more serious. He took a deep breath and spoke slowly. That means in the city of Tian Hai, there's an entity that we don't know about. It's terrifying. I have a worried look on my face. Come forward and gently embrace Zhang Yi. Whatever the outcome is, it's scary. Her hand laughed softly. Don't think too much. We are not responsible. Managing the outside world. What we need to do, protect yourself first. As long as this place is safe, we can continue living a good life of his. Chu Kai Ni nodded. You feel that Zhang Yi is right. Too much worry, it only brings deeper despair. In the medical room. Before, take out a zombie arm from the psychic space. Put it on the study table. Immediately after appearing, this piece of meat is still wiggling. It's like half of a worm being cut off. Even though there are signs of freezing, it still radiates strong vitality. And even Zhu Kai Ni, a doctor with extensive knowledge, you also have to roll your eyes. It's a miracle. The translation reminds you to be careful. We can't identify it yet. Is this a withdrawal? We don't know how it's capable of spreading LAN. And with a small smile, rest assured. Don't forget what my job is. She picked up the clip and put the broken meat in the tray. Then surrounded by glass cages. I also need some time to research. Why don't we still have time? If it's just the current level of risk, we can easily handle it. Zhu Kai Ni said yes. Even though SAO are armed forces, it's also number one in Shanghai. But if this type of zombie appears in other forces, especially if it happens in the snow, it's going to be extremely scary. Just as Zhang Yi predicted, this time the zombie crisis isn't just about them. The whole city, Tian Hai City, were suddenly attacked by a large number of zombies. Duong Thi Base, Million Weapons Base, and Base Baryu, they're all under attack from mysterious zombies. The soldiers have no experience dealing with this kind of modified organism. At first, they thought that just destroying a zombie's head would be enough. But no one expected that even if the head was smashed, zombies can still attack, using their sharp claws. These zombies, it's not like the kind of slowness you see on the VI. Both in speed and power are superior to ordinary people. The number of zombies is extremely difficult to kill. Thousands of zombies landed. The first line of military service become weak. It was pierced not long after. In a short time, all major bases have suffered heavy damage, with many people killed by this perverted creature. However, 3 large bases still have strong firepower. After going through the initial panic, they quickly organized a counterattack under the leadership of the base leaders and the mutant captain. At the Yangtze base, Red was the first to discover that. The creatures, they are especially afraid of fire. You jump up a tower, use high-purity alcohol to spew out a dragon fire, sweep through the zombie hordes. This is like spraying pesticides. Quickly turn the zombies into dust. But when you look around, the number of zombies is huge. Compared to thousands of zombies that Zhang had encountered in his hideout. Bases in the central areas. Again facing the zombie scale. It's bigger. Red wine is also worried. When the number of zombies is really too many. I can't think of many girls raising their eyebrows. Your smelting power. To the fullest. A man carrying a heavy iron box. Come closer to you. In the iron box is the highest pure alcohol. Here's your wine leader. Red pepper practice drinking a sip of alcohol. On you. Then there's the blood veins. Then spew out flames like dragons. Burn the zombies that are coming. After fighting hard and being brave. I don't know how many zombies. They just stopped this terrible attack. Red pepper practice speaking in fatigue. What are these things after all? They're not ordinary zombies. We have to investigate how they appear. Is there an AI behind them that's controlling them? Look, his refinery became a mess. With bodies everywhere, red wine can't hide anger. In the heart. It's not just on the training ground. The angel has activated his power. Leading the 500 best soldiers, defeat the zombies directly, in a fierce attack. With the help of celestial powers, these soldiers, they all became great warriors. Unity of attack and defense. They don't need guns. It's fighting with cold weapons like hammers. Iron stick, face to face and fight with zombies. It's clear that this mode of combat is more effective than the use of guns. Even frozen corpses, they were also smashed to pieces. At the Million Vu base, they even use gunboats moored in the deep sea to shoot at zombies. Although the number of zombies attacked is very large, they still can't hurt. 7 heavy for large forces. Even though these forces possess fire, strong force, and a significant number of mutants. However, the sea is also quite amazing about the emergence of these zombies. Nu Yen Den Hai frowned to express his concern. Where do these things come from? Is it because of some power? In Tianhai City, nurturing, or is there's some underground force? Have we never discovered it? Chun Ying, together with large bases, has been pretty good at solving zombie problems. However, at the sermon, the situation was extremely bad. They've accelerated the acquisition of their spears. In the past month, it's making the cult scale expand rapidly. At the center of the Tianfang area of the sect, has gathered more than 10,000 followers, of which more than 70% are not capable of strong combat. They don't even have weapons. It's these giants has attracted large numbers of zombies from underground. That evening, after the priests of the cult preached, complete the prayer ritual, they returned to their own tents to rest. In the evening, they light a fire, share box, and 10 red saints from the holy tree. Among these people, there are also residents from Muk Lok apartment and Lee Sword. To keep warm, they're concentrated in buildings with closed architecture. There are always guards outside. Suddenly, people are on the night watch, detect the vague shadow of people around. However, due to the darkness, they can't see clearly. There's something unusual about these zombies. Others at night think they are the survivors. To please help, should come back to visit. Where are you from? Do you need our help? As they come closer to check, they found out that the situation is not at all what they think. Blue-purple skin and empty eyes. There's no consciousness, along with the horrible wounds on the body. Clearly, this is not a living person. The night watchman screamed in panic. Is a monster. And now the zombies start to act. They're attracted to the fire, like a moth plunging its head into a red flame. Like this time, they're not looking for their own death. It brings death to the living, not prepared in the camp. The night watchman hurriedly launched a counterattack. The gunfire continued. Like these zombies are basically fearless. In front of weapons, even though their heads were shot, they can come and bite the living. The cry of sorrow echoed everywhere. It makes people afraid. Save me, save me. This sad cry echoes everywhere. In the camp of Twiat Chow, it finally panicked everyone. When they realize they're under attack, then even the guards are not afraid of death. It's hard to hurt the zombies. Price map. A snowman may not be afraid of death because of his faith. But these zombies aren't just afraid of death. It's also extremely difficult to destroy. They also possess offensive power far beyond humans. Usually, because it's not constrained by the brain, they can unleash the power of their bodies in an arbitrary way. In the dark, Chen zombies wish each other, encircled the entire area of the snowball, to launch a horrific attack. Just for a moment, hundreds of spears of the snow cult. He was bitten by a zombie. Some guards realized that this is a legendary zombie and panicked with a gun to their head. However, this type of attack does not hinder the footsteps of zombies. The opposite, the sound attracts more zombies. The guards were dragged to the ground and torn apart. The cry of despair echoed through the camp. The snow. Don't back down, Cardinal. Your Majesty will help us. The guards are easily destroyed, while their normal spears are resting. They can't make an effective defense. When powerful zombies storm in, it's like being hungry for 3 days. Break into a room full of food. At this point in time, barracks become ready meals for zombies. Horrifying screams echoing through the night. A save me with. Since its establishment, the sermon developed rapidly, with the number of spears growing to tens of thousands of people. They gathered near the church, living together in the castle. To keep warm, normally, there's 10 people sharing in a room, resulting in extremely high population density. So in terms of such high population density, when attacked by zombies, they have almost no space to run away rumbling. Each door is broken down one by one. Zombies storm in and start a massacre. The snow spears screamed 7 bars in fear. Some people are even threatened with fainting, but still can't avoid from the fate of being eaten by zombies. There are people trying to escape by jumping down from the skyscraper, but there are more zombies outside, with open mouth waiting for them. It's like falling bread in the sky. However, the leader of the snow flute, they also quickly reacted. And now the big door of the church suddenly opened. A powerful invisible force stormed Ra. Let's throw 10 zombies away. The first to come out of the church. There are more than 10 mutants. The catastrophic scene ahead of us. It makes everyone breathe quickly. Tim thought to himself, the enemy raided. It's a zombie again. In the face of this incredible event, no AI doesn't get confused. Zombies are things you only see in peacetime movies. Now it appears right next door. It doesn't make people panic. In Zheng Yat's eyes, there was a hint of insecurity, but he quickly regained his composure and start a counterattack. Co-fight fault. You send some people to stay inside the church. Don't allow any AI to leave. to protect the cardinal and the faithful in the church. Follow me to destroy these zombies. Under the leadership of Zhang Yat first, the sermon finally began to restore order. Launch a counterattack against the zombies. The participation of powerful mutants helped the fighting situation change completely. The previous price was quickly abandoned. He has also regained his spirit now. Pick up your weapon and start a counterattack. Welding often turns into animal form. A small animal with longitudinal gray hairs from head to back. Fangs and sharp claws. He's using knowledge from television shows. Kill 10 zombies. Think it's over. Like these zombies just paused a little bit. He is slow to act, but he runs towards him. Han is often surprised. They're still not dead. But as a mutant, he's not afraid of the sky. Not afraid of land. Then I will completely abandon you. And then his claws lit up. All the zombies are cut into pieces, falling to the ground but still shaking. Han often shows disgusted disgust. What is this, after all? Even though these zombies are stronger than normal people. But compared to him, a mutant, they're still far behind. However, it is not possible to kill them immediately. That's as big as the tide. If surrounded, even mutants leave it to heaven. This battle of protection is going on extremely arduously. The number of zombies is too high, while sermons have more than 10,000 of them. It's based on more than 10 mutants. They can't protect everyone completely. So most of the time, mutant group, you can only go to places with the most zombies. To destroy. Price them, you normally have to rely on your own power. To protect themselves and their loved ones. The battle lasted for more than half an hour. No one knows exactly how many of them are zombies. How much is the price of a dead snowflake? Only when the zombies slowly retreat into the darkness. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Like that fear still haunts me. It's not easy to disappear. Han often sees the scene as the hell around. With a worried face. These things, what are they? He heard the cry of the slaves. This battle has taken the lives of so many. I don't know how many people. Losing your loved ones. I often feel pain in my heart. His face filled with unease as he approached, near Trin Dad first. Now the mutants are all gathered. After a long fight, everyone feels very tired. Zhang Yat first kept a cold face. Calm down and command the survivors to clear the battlefield. Let's move all the bodies into the building. Abandoned Kier. Han used to raise his hand to speak aloud to the living wind. Let's check if anyone's injured. These zombies are weird. Maybe they're carrying some sort of biochemical virus. We need to isolate them and observe them closely. Avoid contact with others. At the same time, increase the guard at night. Layout of strong adult men. Patrol around the camp. Zombies can come back at any time. Even though everyone is tired, but they understand that now is not the time to be careless. So they took orders and started to act. Han often approaches Trin Tian with a worried face. These things are hard to solve. We can't kill them. They also know how to retreat. They're not like the brainless zombies on TV. They are often full of anger. Gritted my teeth. If it's really caused by some other hybrid force, I won't leave them alone. My heart often looks at me. We will need to investigate thoroughly later. if not for the very large population density of the snowy church. We can. They will face other attacks. I'm not sure, either, whether this thing, is it related to other forces or not? As Zhang Yat first patted him on the shoulder. Calm down. This is just my theory. The most important thing now is to protect the others. Han often bends his head thinking for a moment, then slowly nod and say, "Your words are right." He turned around to help others, dealing with the consequences of the battle. Zhang Yat first stood in the middle of the battlefield, eyes looking towards the distance. In the dark, it's not clear if there are any strong men out there. His eyes were heavy and worried. Is this a sign of a new storm? In a short day, all the most powerful forces in Tianhai City, from big to small, they all faced the attack of zombies. His campaign and his group were the least affected. There were no casualties. Because their group has few, you don't have to protect normal groups of members. Thanks to the powerful firepower in your hand, defeating zombies is not a problem. But the other forces weren't so lucky. They've lost some members, more or less. The next day, there was insecurity in my heart. The major powers began to communicate with each other. Phone service for old school friends. To ask for love. What the celestial figure uttered. You are also attacked by zombies. He spoke in an angry voice. Yesterday, we also had over 100 deaths. Where did these zombies come from? Maybe it's like Resident Evil, Lao Ra or something. When you know your base is also attacked by zombies, Zhang Yi feels more secure. At least it wasn't an attack, targeting their own group. He told the sky. It's hard to say. These zombies are bizarre. Beheading is not dead. More, looks like someone's controlling them from behind. Raise your eyebrows. Doubt as if listening to your words. I find this problem quite problematic. We're just over 100 kilometers apart. Both were attacked by zombies. If there really is someone, maybe from the dark, lead the zombies. Certainly not just one person. Angel deep frown. The pressure made him use his hand. What you mean is, in Tianhai City, there is still a terrifying force. Ability to control zombies, SAO. But if that's the case, that power is not going to be invincible, SAO. In the city of Tianhai, more than 10 million people died. Just use those dead bodies. They can beat us too. Talk about your hiding place. Although solid, they can't stand it if they attack. Every day, the angel says out the concerns. It's also what the campaign is wondering about. Facing an unknown enemy is terrifying. And translation chapter, I don't know anything about zombies, as well as being able to control them behind the scenes. The chapter sighed for a moment and said, we can just take it one step at a time and see. In addition, contact other forces. See if they have the same problem. Reality. There's no need for chapters and figures to take action. The other forces thought the same. They even suspect the zombie attack this time has. It can be controlled by another power. The forces of information exchange and realize that they're all in the same situation. After determining not any power of the year, the mainstream cause, people realize that this is the attack of a new underground power. It exists underground. It's certainly not a simple disaster. When confirming this, people can only rely on themselves. Move the scene to the next day. A new wave of Shopi shows up outside the hideout. Sigh, let's go. He has the same urge. From fat and browsing dressed combat. Get out of hiding and prepare to fight. This time the flower was also given. However, Changyi stressed not to let flowers bite zombies, to avoid being poisoned. The smart flower nods in agreement. 4 people and 1 animal left the shelter. Start killing this class of zombies. From Fat that took advantage of its ability to control ice and to limit the actions of zombies. From Fat raised both hands. And a big snowstorm immediately covered thousands of zombies. Even if it doesn't cause real damage, but the scope of its impact is enormous. Watch everything with tense eyes. Just as I thought. Someone is controlling these zombies. When they can't see, they've also lost their way. King Dai Shu holds a flamethrower. Start to conduct baking very stably. A fire more than 10 feet long covering a horde of zombies. Turn them into a pile of charcoal. Then the flue goes to another one. The same great end. Carry out the baking according to the cross-slanting spray method. This combination has a clear effect. Very quickly, creating a fire in the midst of zombies. Zombies burned by fire. It makes a strange cry, and quickly lose the ability to act. Behind the glass, I take the notebook seriously. She muttered it turned out to be exactly as I expected. VI withdrawn in the zombie body afraid of heat, likes cold. When high temperature resistant, they'll lose their activity and they'll no longer be able to move. Today, these zombies are retreating. After 7.5. Expand translation. And his team took this opportunity to attack. It's like zombies running away. It's smart. Using dispersion method to flee in different directions. Add to that with their incredibly fast speed. Even if the disease kills hundreds, there's a lot more that can escape. So, today is just repeating the results of yesterday. Kill a group. Another group escaped. I looked at the zombies and thought to myself, I always feel that something is wrong. Expand wrinkle fluid, a sense of insecurity in his heart, slowly rising again. Although today, it doesn't take much to deal with zombies. But there's always some escape. There's something incomprehensible about it that he couldn't catch. That kind of face of Zhang Yi, it makes you fat and fat, are having fun laughing, feel strange. Big brother, you don't seem so happy. People recognize the difference in Zhang's expression and start asking around. Yes, what is the old man thinking? The face looks very serious. If there's a problem, we can discuss it together. Keep your head up and look at everyone. Take a deep breath and explain. Yesterday, we killed more than half of the zombies. But today, the number of zombies attacking us, even more than today. Qua. This proved that the zombie virus has spread LAN very quickly. It's possible that the dead have turned into zombies. If things continue like this, sooner or later, the city of Thien will also completely fall into the hands of zombies. I can't imagine we'll live out that. The words of Zhang Yi, it makes the atmosphere heavy. The smile on everyone's face disappeared. Everyone bowed their heads in thought and looked worried. After a while, Zhang told everyone, let's go ahead. Let's make the zombie situation a little bit clearer for everyone. The expression on his face did not hide his anxiety. If so, sooner or later, the entire city will be completely occupied by zombies. I can't imagine. How do we still have to live then? Everyone bowed their heads in thought and looked worried. Yang Han, sitting in a wheelchair, slowly take a sip of cappuccino and say, as seen from the current situation, this trend has not yet been clarified. If not every time they attack us, enemy, it's not just a few thousand zombies. However, she took her voice more seriously. If we don't find the source of this group of zombies, they're sure it's going to be a big problem in the future. 6 suddenly sighing. If only it were summer. Zombies will be burned and turned to bones. The translation says, the most frightening thing is not their numbers. It's that somebody seems to be controlling them. So they're not just mindless monsters. They are also very difficult to kill. They can only use fire or be broken into pieces. This makes it even more difficult to handle them. Yang Han said that the most important thing, it's still about dealing with the person behind them. Right? Laughing is easy. Where are we going to find him? We only kill half of them each time. They know what to back off. I really can't judge. Is that AI controlling these zombies? Even with this kind of ability. Sighing and falling, the back is full of stitches. Sure, no AI can use common sense to explain. The more they can't, it's easy to get into the subway to investigate, because there's definitely a lot of zombies hiding there. Even though their fight is strong, they don't want to leave the hiding place, stay hidden unless absolutely necessary, while people are wondering. Zhu Kai stood behind him to speak up. We actually have a theory. Turn around to look at you. But his vision was blocked. I can't see the face of the child clearly. Sign for Chu Kai Ni continues to speak. My son is normally a doctor, and not directly participate in the battle plan. But this time, with your expertise, can provide valuable information. Zhu Kai Ni get encouragement from Trong Yi. Start explaining. In the last 2 days, we've been studying zombie bodies and discovered a very strange microbe. It can withstand extremely low temperatures. It can even survive at -100 degrees Celsius. It's capable of entering the nervous system. Body control. But Chu can frown. It doesn't fit the definition of bacteria in modern biology. Its structure, it's like a mix of viruses and cells. Leaning towards the cell, it's as capable as a virus. Intrusion and control of the host's body. Expand translation. As someone who after graduation has thrown away knowledge, I find Zhu's explanation difficult to understand, like drowning in fog. Can you explain it a little more simply? In this room, number of people, I can understand Zhu's explanation. Not much, maybe just counting on fingers. At least 3 men in the room didn't understand. You can laugh awkwardly after the end of the world. Effects of gamma radiation. Biology has been redefined. It's now temporarily called the zombie virus. To put it simply, it exhibits some of the characteristics of a population VI organism or community living animals. Zombies are in the group. They act with consistency. They even have a certain intelligence. But when studying zombie blocks in the lab, we see they even have a weak reproductive instinct, and the response is down. So we suspect that control of this virus may be similar to the biome. There is a poison. It's possible to control them in some way. I sat up straight from the salon. In control. Jen hurried to explain more. Not in the distance, of course. For example, animals can communicate information through pheromones. And VI withdraw this transformation. Sure, they also have their own way of communicating information. I asked you what you mean. If you beat the pathogen to death, these infected zombies will also die. Zhu Kai Ni shook his head. It's hard to say for sure. At least they're not going to do large-scale action, and have a certain wisdom as it is now. Wisdom. These two words echoed through my mind like thunder. Zhang Yi's eyes lit up. He finally identified the cause of the discomfort. I may have understood something. He told his team, have you noticed? In the last 2 days, even though the zombie attacks are intense, but they seem to have a certain kind of intelligence. In fact, the zombie strategy is naive. They always choose to retreat after some of them are destroyed. It feels like a 2.5-year-old learning. You have to learn one word at a time. Explanation of the translation chapter. Make people feel reasonable. Zombies are still clumsy, even in the face of strong firepower. Like a flamethrower, they didn't choose to spread out to attack. Like this time, they know how to dodge the door. Zhangji's time and chooses to flee. When you realize that the situation is not favorable, they have wisdom, but not much. Save voice. Wait a minute, I think I know what you mean. She held her arms, her eyes filled with concentration. You mean their opponent? We can be intelligent zombies. Maybe people change after they die. Or VI withdraw, transform, occupy the human body, and become a kind of template. Although SAO, they have only been wise for a short time, and is learning how to fight humans. Zhang Yi said that this speculation is very likely. That method of fighting, it's not like normal intelligence of human beings, but it's not completely brainless. If there's actually this kind of creature, it can be considered a king. Continue to translate, whether SAO to obtain the ability. We've identified 2 conditions. About to meet death, or being stimulated by foreign bodies like amber. This is the case after death. It's not impossible to get the ability. After 2 fights, the police and his team collected 10 important information about this mystical force. They move quickly. Possesses enormous power, no less than wild animals. And more importantly, just killing their leader. You can't kill them completely. They also show their wisdom and certain cognitive abilities. However, so far, is there a king's command behind this group of zombies, or not? They're still just guessing, but they can't make sure. 2 hands on the chin. His eyes flashed a ray of light. He said in a low voice, if these bodies actually transform and gain wisdom, this is our next attack. It can be extended. We'll have a chance to get 10 times more information. We need to pay attention to every little detail in their actions to figure out how to deal with them. However, first of all, we need to get rid of these zombie groups quickly. Around this area. Their existence. It's a huge potential safety hazard. If you don't kill all the zombies, they won't stop harassing. Hard to guarantee there are no unexpected incidents happening. If the enemy is human, the plague is not afraid either. But with these zombies that aren't afraid of death, how to beat them when they are not afraid? I put my knife next to it. Cross your arms and lean into the salon chair. But there's another problem. If the mutated body creates the mind, turned into a kind of monster, zombies are capable of controlling large numbers. how it can cause chaos in each region. In Tianhai City, at the same time, laughing in a timely manner. I don't know either. Yang Xin also said his thoughts. Subway. These 3 words make people wise. They've never been 10 feet deep into the ground. But we can predict that the temperature underground is higher than the surface. And it's more convenient to travel. Yang Han lifted his head. The amber eyes sparkled with intelligence. She analyzed in a clear and cold voice. We know. Zombie activity area closest to us. It's the great GA of the subway. The subway system of Tianhai City. Connected everywhere. It can lead to any area. So zombies also move through the subway. To each area. And whether this was intentional or negligence. Want to judge, need careful consideration. Chapter nods in thought, hand raises chin. This also explains. At SA only dealing with the smallest group of zombies. The castle is relatively far away. There's only one train from GA that goes through. To speak to Yang Han. Let's continue to monitor the situation of other forces. We need to know what the zombie situation is. We need to figure out how to deal with these toys. To take back our leisurely lives. She smiled and nodded, of course. However, their current life is not easy either. All 3 major bases have underground shelters. But they also have important buildings on the ground. Like a steel mill, oil refineries and seaports. These places are solid bases of bases. They're sure it's not easy to lose them to zombies. And will fight to the end. They have to constantly fight zombies. He laughed softly and said, these problems, it's not something we need to care about. If they don't sacrifice, they will have to fight zombies. He breathed and fell on the salon chair. Especially the snow. The number of their followers is increasing. It made them feel threatened. They're reducing their numbers this time. It's not a bad thing for us.